Let's compare a $7 Kylo Ren lightsaber toy to a $150 Kylo Ren lightsaber. Now both of these are officially licensed products, and they're both by Hasbro. On the left is a Star Wars Blade Builders Kylo Ren lightsaber toy, and on the right is a Star Wars The Black Series Kylo Ren Force FX lightsaber, and this is an adult collectible. So first of all, one is a toy, one is an adult collectible, and that's a big reason for the price difference. And they're also made out of very different materials. So this lightsaber toy is just all plastic. The blades are plastic. The hilt is also plastic. It's very light. It's about 7 ounces total. And on the right is this Kylo Ren Force FX lightsaber. It's made of metal here. The blades are plastic. There are lights inside the blade. And this whole thing is very heavy. So it's about 3 pounds. It's very heavy, very weighty. So that's a big difference there. And another thing about these two lightsabers, well, you'll notice the blades on this toy, they're telescoping. So that means you can kind of extend them and retract them. So it goes all the way in like that. Same with the kind of side blades. They pop into place like that. And if I want to extend the blade, oops, I think I put it in too far. All right, I'm going to have to get it out. See, I think that's why there's a hole in the top. There you go. So there, I can extend the blade that way. A little bit of a hiccup there. And hopefully if I can extend the main blade all the way, then the side blades pop out. So it has this kind of spring-loaded element to it, but that's how this lightsaber toy works. And this specific lightsaber, it's not electronic, okay? So there's no batteries, nothing lights up. It just kind of has this red colored blade, has this really neat kind of fiery texture to the blade as well. That's something that I like about it. But that's basically how this blade lights up, how it works. If you want lightsaber sounds, you have to kind of make your own. Now, if we look at this other lightsaber here, this Force FX lightsaber, it's much more sophisticated. The blades are plastic. They're much thicker plastic. The blades are permanently attached to the hilt. And the blade itself is white, but when we turn on the lightsaber, and we turn it on over here, the blades illuminate that way. Get the cool lightsaber-y sounds too. It's kind of funny that one thing that these lightsabers have in common is that the main blade kind of extends first. On the lightsaber toy, the kind of actual blade extends first, followed by the kind of side blades. But on the Force FX lightsaber, the main blade illuminates first, followed by the side blades. So that's kind of interesting thing that the two have in common. Now if we look at the size of both of these, I'll just kind of put them right next to each other. They're surprisingly similar in size. So they're really about the same size, although the Force FX lightsaber is wider. Okay, so you can probably see that a little bit. But they're roughly the same length. So it's nice that this lightsaber toy is a bit more narrow because, you know, the full-size Kylo Ren style lightsaber is often kind of large and cumbersome for kids. So if they kind of slim it down a little bit here, that makes it a bit more manageable, along with it being a lot lighter in weight as well. Now, kind of the paint on these lightsabers is pretty different. So let's kind of look at the top. Now, both of them have kind of these weathering elements to them, but it's very different paint styles. So the toy is mostly black, and it has some kind of painted on silver elements. And we have the nice wire on the back, and we have the wire on both of them actually. And it's nice that they both have that. They both can have this bluish part at the top, although you can really tell that the Force FX lightsaber is meant to look quite a bit more weathered than this lightsaber toy. So there's a little bit of weathering going on. You have this kind of different paint job kind of toward the top of the hilt where you have a little bit of silver, and then it becomes a bit more dark as you move into the hilt. But This other hilt over here, the Force FX one, it has a lot more browns kind of to the palette. So even the color of the lightsaber, it looks a bit more dark brown than it looks black. And so they really kind of make it look a bit more aged that way. And it looks like there's kind of some smudging on it right here. And this open panel, this exposed panel, although both of them have an exposed panel, it's a lot more clean here in terms of how much it's cut, but also in terms of how much it's weathered. So that's kind of an interesting difference too. Now there's this sort of caution sticker thingy on the toy. I believe I could peel that off if I needed to. And, you know, other than that, let's see. Let's look to the back. Now here's where the activation switch would be, you know, on the so-called real lightsaber. On this Force FX lightsaber, this is the way to activate the lightsaber. So this part right here doesn't do anything. And same is the case for this lightsaber toy. It's just sort of a decorative piece. And there's no activation switch for this toy at all since it's not electronic at all. So, yeah. Now, okay. So we see that the design of these other kind of decorative surface pieces right here, they're pretty similar. They have like the same kind of groove pattern to them. But, you know, again, this is a bit more weathered on the Force FX lightsaber. But we do have kind of this series of them encircling both of these hilts. Now, if we look at the back, I do like that both of them seem to do a pretty good job with that wire kind of going down the hilt. Now on the Force FX lightsaber, this is kind of a separate piece that's attached to it. So it's, I mean, it's not really a real wire, but it's definitely a separate piece that can wiggle and stuff. But on the toy, this is just permanently attached to the hilt. So it's just kind of a painted piece of plastic. So it's part of like the molding of the plastic. And then if we move down even more, we have kind of the same design right here for kind of the belt clip piece thingy. So on the left, it's a bit more fresh, you know, in its brass or goldish color. And then on the right, with the Force FX lightsaber, definitely much more weathered. And then finally, we're getting toward the bottom of the lightsaber. So the bottom of this Blade Builder's lightsaber, it's totally open, and that's because it's part of the Blade Builder system. So you could connect it to another piece that way. So there's no kind of a pommel, you know, on the very bottom of the lightsaber hilt. But you do have this kind of chamber near the pommel area that you can kind of see a little bit of. But certainly it's a bit more sophisticated with the Force FX lightsaber over here. It looks much more like there's, I don't know, some type of engine or some kind of very important mechanical internal piece right here. And it has this kind of tarnished look to the components as well. So that's just kind of an overall comparison of these two lightsaber hilts. This is a fun lightsaber toy. It's part of the Blade Builders line. And this is a fun lightsaber adult collectible, you know, for kind of the bigger kids out there. And it's definitely a little bit spendier too. So I guess one last time I'll demonstrate both of the lightsabers. Got to put those side pieces in. So there, I haven't quite gotten the trick to get the sidebars kind of coming out. But here's the toy, and then I go zoom, 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 pew, pew. Because I would have to add my own sounds. And then here is the one where I don't have to add my own sounds, the Force FX lightsaber. Alright, so this has just been a comparison of a $7 Kylo Ren lightsaber. It's not a Force FX lightsaber, it's a Blade Builder's lightsaber. And this is a Kylo Ren Force FX lightsaber on the right. So these are radically different, but it is kind of neat to see the similarities in design between the two pieces as well. So there is a little bit of cohesion, you know, even between a Kylo Ren lightsaber toy and kind of a higher end Kylo Ren adult collectible. So feel free to comment below. What do you think of the Kylo Ren lightsaber? Excited to see it in the next movie. And do you have any Kylo Ren lightsabers at home? You know, do you have either of these or one of the other Kylo Ren lightsabers? Please comment below.